I'm gonna make a video on huh, so many things I could discuss. Let's discuss the air itself. This is different from oxygen, so I have to make a typing for the air itself. I'm like, wait, but it doesn't make any sense. Uh, fair enough. It's um, it doesn't make sense. I have to give it a try. We're not gonna bother with the classical elements in terms of anything from the Greeks or anything like that. So what we're gonna discuss itself is, of course, the air or the atmosphere of the Earth that most people are not going to, get their jetpacks and find this. No, no. So, I have interacted with some homeless people before. Um, I will say that um, many of them they see the world very differently than they were before. So, so let's say, I haven't you know, I didn't ask them where they were before they were homeless. I will say that most of them were not born homeless. So, um, because of that, I didn't, I can't acquire what they were like before. All right, I only can see their present state. Um, so therefore, um, I've observed some behaviors, but again, um, I will probably say, um, that ESFJ is probably the type for the end. All right. So, I'm like, all those people are not exactly extroverted in the sense. So it's not like they're, you know, asking. It's not like they're, you know, like let's say if they suddenly got money uh, to you know, not be homeless. It doesn't mean that they're gonna go on parties. That's not the point of extraction. That's kind of simplification. So another comparison is you know people who routinely join running groups. Are they exactly extroverted? So that's the problem. Um, it's not so easy to make this type of um, yeah, the thing is, I don't usually hang out with those, you know, folks. However, um, I could still type them, type the air itself as ESFJ, not the runners. That's a big difference. So, um, I'm just like, I don't know, I haven't really paid attention to the other groups because there are other hobbyists, and other, many different ventures. Um, I would say that a hobby of being a runner is a serious commitment. I have observed that um, that's not the only thing. There's certainly folks who have went camping. Certainly, that's gonna involve the air, but given the fact that it's an outdoor activity. I have not been to the national parks in a long time. I can't remember last time I were at a national park within, like the last 20 years. I will say that, um, I will say that, um, for most part, most people after they, enter these parks and, participate in recreational camping and hiking, most people afterwards, let's say they participate in this activity for about a few weeks, and perhaps quite lengthy, perhaps even after just a few days. I definitely, I definitely sense that they increase the percentage of ESFJ, um, whatever that means. So I could totally attest to that because um, I don't know, like the outdoors for a period of time like that. I don't know, like um, it's kind of hard to say because um, like it, the introvert thinking in the inferior function um, doesn't really pop out as much as the other three functions. Um, so I've realized that people that a lot of people they spend time in academia. They're indoors a lot because that is the nature of their profession. And there's a big difference between the different fields. So or especially talking about um, the, the science archaeology types that are actually on the field. Those types, there's a big comparison between those folk in academia, especially among the research group, and those that are just conducting a whole research indoors. Because now we got computers, it's super easy now. Basically, not spend a single time outside, right? To conduct research. So I have, and of course, a lot of research now is in laboratories. So that's clearly indoors most of the time. We have seen, um, so that's certainly. I'm not saying that those that are involved in this type of field work, but they definitely see the world very differently. Especially if they're, taking quite a bit of absence. So, there's like some of these places are quite remote. Um, having to, yeah, first of all, you're outside the country that you're from. Um, so there's certainly some things that you. It's just that let's say you're researching indigenous group of people or tropical or animals, right? In the wild setting, right? And then you come back, to your home country, you're in civilian life, and your field work is done. Let's say, I don't know how long was it, a few months, 6, or even a year. You have to readjust to civilian life because you got this big paycheck and such, right? And you gotta, and then there's the part where you're concerned starting a family, right? You know, and it's just like I don't know, like I've noticed that a lot of these folks, they just it's like you didn't sign up to learn a new language and stuff like that, but at the same time, you know, it's like like you never planned in your life that you were going to go to another country, right? That wasn't ever part of your plans. That was a part of your research, right? And I've noticed that these folks that just I don't know, it just the observation just comes, it just I don't know, I've realized that I don't know, like you can just tell if you read their books, right? Uh, just you definitely you definitely get the sense that they're increasing. They have a slight depreciation with like the air has affected them, right? So definitely ESFJ energy there, especially if you read these books written by folks who have you know done the outside research, um, you know, well being professor. Um, Now, in comparison to the opposite group, which is gammas, um, it's very different. Like, spending time outside the environment, outside the urban environment, especially in like a country like the United States, um, it just, I don't know, like, you never really imagine these types of, archaeologists or scientists or whatnot, or even, folks in the language department, um, you know, it just, I don't know, like, it just, I mean, whatever it is, if they're working with animals or if they're working with, like, um, indigenous, you know, folks, and then you come back and you realize, well, sometimes you might come across, like, folks in poverty or other homeless, and you just see things differently, right? In contrast, folks who have jobs that are completely indoors don't tend to those things don't those observations are different,